everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I bring you someone who is, well, he was previously a lot into deathstep and now he's been making exclusively metal stuff. But fear not, he has plans to combine his deathstep and his metal tastes and everything in between together into something which is more than just music. And without further ado, let's jump in the conversation. See you on the other side. Bye bye. Hello.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. What should I call you?
Nice to meet you too. You can call me Cal or PJ.
PJ. Okay, PJ is
Yeah,
nice. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Okay. First things first, PJ. Where did all of your older stuff go?
Um, that stuff, some of it's on my hard drive,
Mhm.
but like most of it kind of disappeared because um, I don't know, I was going through a phase that I wanted to just like reboot my creative self,
Mhm.
if that makes any sense.
It does.
So I just Yeah, like I just kind of like rage quit, like like a game when you rage
Yeah.
quit. I just
Okay.
kind of like deleted everything.
Yeah, you had like SoundCloud profiles, Facebook profiles with a different alias, which was Calvaire, but it had like Calvaire tunes, I think. And I think you deleted all of that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. Gladly, Hydraulic Damnation had a couple of songs that I liked, and Full Flex Audio also had some of the things. So I could at least dig up some of those. They're not lost forever.
Yeah, thank God for that. I also have some other like music on my hard drive that I can send you. It's like private stuff.
Oh, okay. I'd appreciate that.
Sure thing.
What made you rage quit? Was there anything specific?
I was just frustrated because I felt like I wasn't uh, being true to myself. I felt like I was just trying to like repeat what my influences were. I wasn't, there was no individuality to it. It didn't feel like myself,
Oh,
and
okay.
I just felt like I needed to like start again, like get my philosophies straight.
What was your philosophy before, and what is it now?
Before it was just to make like the stuff that people could like headbang to,
Mm-hmm.
um, like everyone who starts out just wants to make like heavy music and then get popular and then maybe get booked at shows or whatever.
Right, right.
But I wasn't really, I wasn't even really like into the whole like shows thing because I have like social anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know why I had my head in that place at that time. So I just like stopped and took a break and then decided to switch up my philosophy. And right now, uh, when it changed, I just wanted to make the darkest, like most evil sounding music I could possibly make. like for myself, and it wouldn't have to be like heavy head banging stuff. It would be like more just going with a feel, like a vibe. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah,
most producers, when they start, at least in the beginning, for even if it's just a few days, there is always this, I don't know, the wish to be popular and then, be heard by everyone and your music being enjoyed by everyone. That happens.
yeah,
And eventually, somewhere on the way, people change their mind. I don't know. Is it because you're not satisfied with that, or is it something else?
yeah. It also comes from the lack of satisfaction
Hmm.
because some uh, I'm not sure if I can speak for other people, but there's a group of friends that I had, even though they didn't say anything, I kind of saw that they were frustrated with their production and with just everything in general. So yeah, I think that there's an element of just not being satisfied that comes with it.
Right. And you would be surprised that a lot of people I've spoken to so far actually mentioned the same issue. I mean, the biggest example comes to my mind is White Eyes. So he mentioned that initially he used to run after the numbers a lot for at least the initial phase. And eventually he got so fed up of that, he stopped caring. And that's actually when things started to grow much better than it was before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When we first get into it, we we just want to like chase numbers and likes and like comments,
Right.
and some of that just doesn't feel right, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Another thing on the same note is you changed your direction pretty harshly. I mean, harshly as in, how should I say? You kind of ditched your initial idea altogether and went on full on metal. Was that something that you always wanted to do but did not do because you thought it would get less support?
yeah. Well, initially, uh, I've been like huge into like different kinds of music
Hmm.
ever since I was a kid. So, like the biggest one was like metal and like industrial rock and stuff.
Hmm.
So let me fast forward a bit. When I started making Death Step, um, that only was just me experimenting with another influence that I found. But
Hmm.
then I ended up getting caught up in like uh, getting the likes and the numbers and all that other stuff.
Oh, I see.
And then I just kind of like one day just felt, no, I need to like go back to my drawing board and just see what really sticks because I just didn't like start doing metal when I stopped making music.
Hmm.
I tried a bunch of other stuff uh like even like cinematic like film music and like orchestral arrangements and minimal weird electronic stuff like
Right.
IDMs, yeah, and synthwave, and I made a bunch of stuff that I haven't even like put out
Hmm.
till I started. I got frustrated and I just said, let me just like go back to my roots, and I started listening to metal again, and then my love for making music just kind of sparked from that. That's when I started making metal,
Nice.
and I went to buy a guitar,
Ooh.
and yeah, started practicing and teaching myself stuff and production. Now I wanna fuse everything I've learned. Like I wanna put like Minatory and Death Step into my metal and some cyberpunk stuff, atmospheric stuff, just fusing it into one.
Big experiment. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's currently what I'm working on right now. I'm working on a small like personal EP.
Yeah.
It's got 3 songs
Night terrors,
and
right?
yeah, Night Terrors. It's gonna be like hybrid, industrial, cinematic metal.
Mother was from that EP, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
that's
that
one of
track
the
was so
songs.
good.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it.
And especially the video, that went really well with it. You did the editing?
Yeah, yeah, I did the editing myself.
Good job.
Thanks a lot.
So, how's the EP coming along?
It's coming along pretty good. I just need to like structure. Like there's two songs that I need to structure, and I get like I change my mind a lot when I open the sessions.
Uh-huh.
I end up like deleting some riffs and then recording new ones and doing new sound design. It's kind of a drag, but it's fun.
So you're recording the riffs on your guitar?
Yeah, yeah. I do a like a hybrid setup. I use my actual guitar for like the ignorant riffs,
Mm-hmm.
and I program the more intricate riffs because I'm not that good yet.
I see. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and for the people who want to know what program I use for like drums and like bass and guitar,
Mm-hmm.
for drums I use Perfect Drums by Audio Audio,
Mm-hmm.
but I only use the cymbals and the snares and the toms from that kit.
What
And
about the
I
rest?
have some custom kicks that I'm gonna release in a sample pack pretty soon.
Okay.
And for the bass, I use Avalanche Bass
Mm-hmm.
by Buster Otohome. He's the guitarist in Humanity's Last Breath.
Oh, okay.
And for guitar, I use Shred 3 for the program parts.
And what is the DAW you're working on?
FL Studio 20.
Okay. FL Studio is
Yeah.
still strong.
Yeah, FL Studio is pretty slept on. I don't know why,
You
but
think so? I mean, I've heard a lot of people using FL Studio compared to, say, Ableton or even Reason.
oh yeah, for sure. The reason I said it's slept on is because most people who use FL Studio only either use it for like electronic music and making beats,
Mm-hmm.
but then it can do like so much more, you know.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
since I'm like hopping into like different communities, when I go into the film score side, I see them only using Cubase and Studio One.
Oh, okay. I see what you
Then
mean.
yeah, then when I go into the metal side, they all use like Pro Tools
Mhm.
and Reaper.
Right.
Yeah, I'm the only one using FL.
What do they think about that?
I don't know, to be honest. I think they think it's just like a bedroom producer's thing, or I don't know. It's like stigma, you know?
I know, I know. And I think it's kind of a regular misconception that something that is not heard of might not be as good unless you actually try it. So FL Studio kind of gets that kind of a stigma sometimes.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Because it's I can't even like explain in words what you can do with FL, you know?
Simulate the entire world, you know.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
One thing that comes to mind is you mentioned you were working on a lot of things, and I think one of the recent projects that was Thallium, I think, right? That was with a vocalist. I'm not sure who it was.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you have similar projects in line?
Yeah, for sure. So the vocalist, his name is Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
He's my friend. We made a band together.
Oh.
So we have two bands.
Mm-hmm.
One band is called Tiran, which means tyrant in like Afrikaans,
Oh, okay.
and the other band is called Quasar. And there's gonna be like more information on the other like project because there's gonna be like some art and like visual stuff involved in that other thing. So the Tiran band, it's um it's mostly based on uh like villains changing into more like redemption arcs for villains. Those are the kind of stories we're gonna tell.
They realize they're bad and then they turn good.
Yeah, something like that. There's like a
Okay.
whole universe. There's like time travel and like magic and technology and stuff. So we're gonna be going into like different arcs. When we go into the magic stuff, it's gonna be like really like dark, primitive sounding, like black and stuff.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then for the futuristic arcs, that's where we're gonna like fuse in all the death stuff and hybrid like neuro stuff with the metal.
Right. Sounds really cool. I'm very excited for this.
I'm glad you're excited. I'll send you a couple of songs after the call.
Mm-hmm.
We've actually done a couple of songs, and we've recorded vocals also. And what's left is just like mixing and arranging stuff.
Right. So in the
Yeah.
band, what is your job? Do you do the mixing, the production, or do you also play instruments or vocals and stuff?
I do just the instruments. I do guitar work and the drums. I write all the music and mixing, of course. I might start doing vocals pretty soon.
You can do vocals?
Uh, Not really, but like I'm practicing. Yeah,
I mean, you have your friends to teach you, I guess, so that always helps.
yeah, for sure.
Nice. We need more screamers in the world, you know?
Yeah. Oh, and I mentioned about Quasar.
Yeah.
It's like me and Anthony, we just do songs that we just wake up and say, hey, let's do a song, and stuff materializes from that. So we have a song for Halloween coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
It's scheduled for release on October the 15th.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
going to be a single, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a single, and it's gonna have a lot of like the hybrid elements to it. It's not just straight up metal.
Interesting. You know, I read one of the comments on, I think, Mother, if I'm not wrong, and it said that you're probably doing the most experimental stuff in the metal scene right now. And I do not have the full exposure to agree or disagree with that, but I definitely see you doing a lot of experiments. So good job on that.
It's a lot. The metal scene actually, it's mostly just like right now it's mostly just like guitar and bass and drums and breakdowns and all that.
Which is pretty classic.
Yeah, like classic stuff mostly. There might be some synths here and there, but not that much.
Hmm.
So like what I'm doing, I'm getting inspiration from like Devin Townsend
Hmm.
and Tyler Bates. He did the score for John Wick,
Yeah.
I think 2 and 3, and played guitar for Marilyn Manson.
Oh.
So yeah, I know there's like controversy with Marilyn Manson right now, but besides that, I'm kind of like grabbing inspiration from him because he was also kind of doing experimental stuff with rock and metal like way back in the 90s.
Hmm.
Same thing with Circle of Dust. I'm sure you know about Cell Dweller.
Cell Dweller, yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
I remember listening to some of Cell Dweller's music when I just got into the scene 2015, late 2015.
yeah. That's kind of like the direction I'm going with my music, but more like evil sounding music.
Okay, that makes sense. Whatever you do, I guess the theme of dark and evil is going to be there. That's kind of like default.
Yeah, and I blame that on Code Pandora, man.
Okay, for spoiling you with that.
Yeah, he's the reason why I kind of just embraced the darkness.
Mhm.
It was in 2016 when I came across his God LP.
Oh, that LP is so good.
Yeah, I still listen to it like a lot.
I know, right? It doesn't age.
Yeah,
The entire LPs, the sequencing, the production, the songs, it's just, I don't know. I have not been able to figure out any imperfections in it, or maybe I'm biased, who knows?
I think it's the atmosphere.
Yeah, probably also because nothing like that existed, at least at that time, which was, of that considerable size. Things were there,
Yeah,
singles, but that entire LP was like a giant beast.
yeah, everything about it from the artwork
Hmm.
and that cover, that album cover.
It's intriguing.
Yeah, the music actually sounds like what the cover looks like.
Yeah, I know, I know. Since we're talking about that,
Yeah.
let's go back to when you actually discovered the dark side of music. So that was 2016, or you were also into dark music like metal before?
So before that, I should say that the Code Pandorum album, it opened a new door for me because I never realized how dark and evil music can get, to be honest with you. I was just even like back in the day when I used to listen to like Morbid Angel or like Cannibal Corpse or maybe like 3 6 Mafia.
Hmm.
Yeah, they sound evil, but like not like how Sven did it on that album. So I could say that it was like my eyes opening the first time I listened to Cold Pandorum. And it's quite funny actually how I discovered him.
How did that happen?
I was bored at work and I was just like watching some YouTube videos and I saw a little thumbnail in the corner of my screen by Rainolet's music.
And that was that cover?
No, no, no. It was a mix. It had like the T1000
Hmm.
on the thumbnail
Okay.
and was titled something like Heaviest Drops 2016 or
Ah, okay.
something like that. Yeah, and I clicked on it, and the first song was that one, the one with I can't remember who else was on that song, but the vocalist was Messinian, I think.
Hmm. I'm trying to recall if I remember anything.
I think it was Night of the Crows or something. And since I was like already listening to metal and it had that intro, I was like, what is this?
Hmm.
And then the drop came and I kept rewinding. I couldn't even like go past the first drop because I kept rewinding like over and over again till I
Hmm.
heard the next song and then the other song. I think the fourth one was the the Code Pandorum remix that he did of The Man with the Strange Ring. You remember that one?
I think I remember, yes.
Yeah, that one. That one was the one that just I think that was the key song to what I do today.
That brought you to the dark side. Yeah.
Yeah. And oh, and Let Us Pray.
Let Us Pray is also really good. The only sad part is I don't have anybody to listen to that song with. And sometimes there are things that you feel so good about, you just want to share it with someone.
Oh yeah, yeah, I feel you on that one. Um, like right now, the only people who I can listen to that music with are my friends online, you know.
Yeah. And you can't really be with
Yeah,
them.
yeah, so I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. But other than that, I'm happy.
Yeah, same here, same here.
And from what you've mentioned, it sounds like you do music full time. Is that so, or do you do it as a hobby?
Right now I'm doing it like full time and it kind of like pays my bills and stuff because I write for other bands. I do mixing for other bands as well. And I also kind of just I use my art to make money,
Mm-hmm.
like album artwork and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I paint for some people.
Nice.
And yeah, it's like a full-time gig now.
Is it taxing? Because art can be very taxing, at least if you have to stick to deadlines consistently.
Yeah, it is for sure. It's taxing. Um, it's taxing both like mentally and physically
Right,
and
right.
emotionally as well. Yeah. For example, like when I'm writing, I now have a shoulder injury because of the way my guitar is, like how I hold
Oh,
it, and the way I sit. Yeah, it's a problem
bad
for me.
posture.
Yeah, and the mental side is that when I dive into like a place, I get like really bad insomnia and like nightmares and stuff. Yeah, that's what night terrors is about.
Okay, okay, makes sense. And also that
Yeah,
explains your sleep schedule a lot.
yeah. Like when you texted me, was it last night or like this morning? I can't remember even. When I sent you that link, the Oculus
uh,
link.
I think you did that today.
Oh yeah. Um, that stuff kind of like gave me sleep paralysis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So when you listen to that, just make sure it's like in the daytime or something.
I cannot guarantee that, but we'll see.
I'm serious though. The music that is based off that music is based off of is like real experiences of like spiritual stuff.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like risky getting into that shit.
All right, I'll be cautious then.
All right.
Thanks for the caution,
Sorry
though.
for cursing, by the way.
That's all right. A little bit of cursing doesn't hurt anyone. I mean, the only rule I have is that as long as we are being respectful, you can say whatever you want to.
Awesome, awesome.
Moving on to the other question. When you started making music, you mentioned that one of the reasons was to get popular, at least initially. But have you always been artistic? because you do art and music and other stuff. So have you always been like that since childhood?
Yeah, yeah, I have been. The first creative thing I remember ever doing was drawing a picture of Megatron and Starscream when I was like 3 years old.
Wow.
But my
Okay.
aunt told me that I used to draw like a lot of like vehicles and stuff,
Hmm.
which I don't remember. So I've always been like into visual arts. I started drawing from an early age, and then I started making music in the end of high school. But that was just from being around my cousins because they're like musicians now.
Hmm.
Yeah, they were like rappers, so I also wanted to like rap. So I started making beats, but then everything just changed. I started making all this stuff I make today now.
I see.
Yeah.
One thing that stuck out to me, at least I discovered you, I think, sometime last year, I think, and that was thanks to Martyr. That song, that song was so good. I remember looping it for so so many times.
Not really.
Yeah, and I think you changed that and renamed it as 1111, at least with some modifications, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I did. And you're the only one who actually noticed that.
I mean, I was like, this sounds familiar because I was listening to the entire album on FFA yesterday, and I was like, this sounds very
Yeah.
familiar. What is this? And then I had to dig a little bit to, pull up all the things you released before because names are hard to remember, and I did not have it saved. So it took a while to get to Martyr, but I was like, okay, this is that one, but it's modified. And personally, I like Martyr more than 1111.
My intention for that was I wanted Mother to be the intro
Hmm.
for that EP,
Okay.
but yeah, I removed it because I needed a single out. So I gave that to Martin
Hmm.
as a single. So 1111, how that song came about was everything in Martyr is reversed
Oh,
and like kind of like slowed down a bit. That's how
interesting.
that one came about. Yeah.
I did not realize that.
Oh, that's one of the things that I like to do, and it comes unintentionally. I just find myself doing that a lot because when I'm writing songs, I usually write like super long songs, like 20, 30-minute songs, and then I cut them up
Mhm.
and like put them in different contexts on their own.
Okay,
Yeah. So that just kind of happens.
interesting. That probably gives you even more ideas than you started with, right?
Yeah, yeah, it does. That also just came up from experimenting with how my workflow goes, because I saw how some people write music,
Hmm.
and I also listen to like a lot of film music, and I noticed a pattern in how things are done, like how Hans Zimmer writes, and he'll come up with a theme and then build up on that theme, and it'll like repeat in other songs and but in different ways, which I personally I like that. So I want to put that in my music as well.
I see. So help me understand. How do you write music? I mean, you personally? I don't understand what is the process of writing music really is.
It varies. Like for me, I'm gonna admit right now that I steal ideas from
Hmm.
other musicians. I will literally take their song, like the file of the
Hmm.
song.
Hmm.
I will open FL and then put that song in FL and then like repeat, like remake whatever they did,
Hmm.
and then I'll remove the song and then just like kind of put my own little like nuances to what I created.
Hmm.
That's how I work sometimes.
There are different ways of looking at that process because, for example, if you're drawing something and you're using like a reference of some, say, say you're drawing a hand and you're taking a picture of
Yeah.
a hand, is that stealing? Would that be considered stealing? You're essentially copying the structures, the lines, the shapes, right?
Um. Well, I think it is stealing, but um, when you steal and
Mhm.
then you put your own like originality to it,
Right.
it ends up just becoming like an influence, you know?
True, true. I mean, as long as you
Yeah.
cannot recognize the original thing and say, okay, that was exactly this and nothing has changed,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think that would be
Yeah, for sure.
officially stealing.
Yeah, for sure. Like some artists will like straight up just redraw like a photocopy of whatever reference they're copying.
Right. I get it. I get it. So that's one way you write music, and then you kind of mess around with it, like reversing things, slowing things down, and speeding it up, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you reverse or like pitch something down, it brings a whole new dynamic to the context because you start hearing things that you were never there before.
Mm-hmm.
Even in my own songs, like some of my songs, I would take songs I've done like years ago and then I slow them down or pitch them down or something, and I hear new things from there. Then I take those new things and start building up into something else. Yeah. Sometimes I'll have like a melody in my head from just looking at like art or just other things in general.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes like a drum groove will like pop up in my head for some reason. Then I'll just open up FL at a weird time in the day just to get that idea down and then close FL.
Okay, makes sense. Because a lot of people say that they somehow lose their ideas if they don't write it down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And for me, writing stuff down is something I do a lot lately.
Mm-hmm.
I have like notepads of ideas or like lyrics or yeah, it's everywhere. Sometimes I even hum in the phone. I record a melody and then continue doing whatever I was doing
I
after I'm
see.
done.
I was about to
Yeah.
ask if you do not have FL Studio at hand, what do you do then?
Oh, if I don't, I'll just like pull out my phone
Mhm.
and hum the melody. I'll record it on my phone.
Good, good. Some person mentioned that if it's a drum groove specifically, then they tap on the table and then record the tap pattern. So that also helps.
Yeah, yeah, I do that as well.
Nice.
Yeah, that's how I actually got the drum pattern for Theophany.
Hmm.
I was hitting, there's this pole outside. It's like a metal pole. I
Mhm.
was hitting it with a screwdriver, and I actually recorded that screwdriver and made it the snare.
Oh,
Yeah,
true field musicians.
yeah.
And your production quality is probably one of the best I've heard so far. It's clean, it's it's wholesome, let's say. How did you learn to be so good?
It's a funny story. So there's this guy called John Miller. He used to make beats and like mixing tutorials way, way back on YouTube.
Hmm.
Wasn't even like electronic music or anything. So I was struggling with my mixes, and when I watched his videos, how he worked with EQ and leveling and volume and stuff, and he emphasized that your source material is what determines how good your mix will sound.
Oh,
So like sound selection and stuff. So like my mixes being the way they are as a result of choosing certain sounds, you know, that go together with each other.
right. That also requires a lot of experience and, I don't know, skills in terms of being able to select the right ones.
Yeah, it takes time. It takes time.
How long did it take for you to actually get to a satisfying level?
I will say about like 3.5 years, maybe four. Yeah, 4 years.
When did you start making music again?
Initially, started making music in 2000 and I think it was 2011 or 2012.
Wow, a decade of
No,
music.
2011. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
2011. Yeah, but I've been around like most of the people I've been like around in my
Hmm.
life are creative people. Like my aunt, she used to sing.
Hmm.
My grandpa, he was a musician.
Your rapping cousins.
Yeah, my cousins, all my friends are musicians. Got some like relatives who are musicians as well and like painters.
Hmm.
My mom's best friend is a painter.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just been like I just grew up around that environment.
So, one question on that. Since a lot of people around you are musicians, what do they think about your music? Because I have a feeling that you are the only person who makes the kind of music you make.
Yeah, I well, they don't really know what kind of music I make.
They don't?
They only know about the artist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you deliberately hide it?
Um, yeah, I think so. I do.
Okay.
there's like very few people in my family who know the kind of music I make because I make different music for like I don't know.
Different occasions, let's say.
Yeah, yeah. I'll make softer music, and then some people will know about that and think that's the only music I make.
Oh,
And then
okay.
yeah, the only one in my family who knows like the evil music I make is my sister and my one cousin. Yeah,
Do you think you'd be judged because you make this?
yeah, for sure, totally.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, because I once got in trouble for some artwork I did.
What happened?
I got kicked out of the house.
Oh, wow, that's big trouble.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, then I hope
yeah,
dark side of PJ stays at least hidden for, I don't know, for keeping you out of trouble.
yeah. For now,
For now, yeah. One of the things that you mentioned in one of our earlier chats is that your music doesn't get as much support as it used to, at least since you moved to the metal side. Is that still true?
well, I can say that when I used to make Death Step, I used to get like a lot of like comments, like followers per day, and random DMs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like right now, it's kind of like dead, but
Oh.
not that much dead because, well, I think it's in specific places because on my YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
I get a lot of comments from specific people, but I don't really see like the people who used to like support me when I used to make that step. It's just a few people, a handful of people
Mm-hmm.
who I think are really interested in the new stuff. But I feel like when I start doing the old stuff again, I might get some of the old like people engaging in the content
Right. Makes
again,
sense. Makes
I
sense.
guess. Yeah.
Do you feel like doing that just because of that engagement, or sometimes do you feel like you miss making those older music?
Um, I I can't say that I miss it because I actually make
Uh-huh.
that music, but I haven't yet put it out. I'm
Right.
still kind of like trying to like shape it up
That makes
in
sense.
a certain way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is some content for like the old, I don't know if I can say fans.
Yeah. Let's say
Yeah,
your
it's
older
there.
style. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, in my older style, it's there, but I wanna I wanna like evolve it in a way, you know?
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
what you really want, probably from what I'm hearing, is that you want to, combine what you're doing now with the previous one and not make them two separate things. Am I correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And I'm really, really glad that you did not lose your name, Calvaire. That probably would have been problematic even more.
Yeah, yeah. And that name actually, Code Pandorum is the reason
He made a
I
song.
named myself that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I loved that song. I'm actually working on a bootleg of that
Oh,
song. I've been working on it for a couple years now.
nice.
Yeah.
What is your life outside of music? I mean, when you're not making music or writing down your ideas, what do you do for fun or, I don't know, just normal life?
Hmm. What do I do for fun?
You had to think about it.
I mean, I do other things, but it's very rare.
Okay.
Um, I think for fun, I like to go online and look at art.
Hmm.
There's this website called the Art Academy. I like looking at like old paintings from like the 17th century, 19th century Baroque.
Do you have a specific style? Like, is it some theme based or is it just that anything from that time period?
It's just anything from that time.
Okay,
Yeah. And I watch a lot of like Meat Canyon on YouTube and movies sometimes.
sometimes.
Yeah. I rarely go outside nowadays.
You need to get some sunlight.
Yeah, I think I'll do that after cleaning the house today.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Good. At least you're not, I don't know, you're not suffering in isolation.
Isolation. The thing is, I enjoy isolation. to be honest.
I totally get you on that. I mean, I'm kind of like that.
Yeah, I hate it when people come over. Sometimes people come to my house unannounced, and I hate that.
Yeah. It's, I mean, even if they are your best friends, you're like, you should at least give me a notice, you're intruding in my space.
Yeah, 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 totally.
And sometimes I feel guilty for even calling my parents being intrusive, but that's how it feels. So I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. You and I are kind of, we have something in common.
Right. And that's what I meant, that isolation can be good, at least if you enjoy it. But some people just suffer in isolation because they don't necessarily want to be isolated, but they are because of, I don't know, whatever situation is happening right now.
Yeah, probably because of COVID
Yep.
and some other anomaly. I don't know.
I guess it also
Yeah,
is the cost of being in the music scene because you don't get your neighbor to be your music buddy. You need somebody from online,
yeah, 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 for sure.
which is a
Yeah,
good and a bad thing.
yeah. But for me, I don't mind that. I enjoy being alone, being consumed by my thoughts.
Good. Because mental health in this entire community is a bit questionable. And that is only understating it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean, right?
I know exactly what you mean. It's the way the brain of the creative person works. At least that's how I just told myself to think about it because most of the people who I interact with and they are like musicians or artists, they kind of behave a certain way.
Mhm. But at the end of the day, you have to find, I don't know, whatever works for you. You have to find a workflow that you can still be creative with and still not be suffering, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. That
Good. The other question I was curious about, since you are not from the major places like United States or I don't know, United Kingdom, and these are the bigger places where music of this kind is happening, did you ever face any problems because of your geographical location?
no, not really. In the first place, no one here where I live,
Hmm.
I'm not sure like the type of music I'm into and have been listening to for a while. It's not that popular here anyway, so I mostly just had like friends online and that's how I'm used to living.
Okay.
So even with the challenges of like getting support, like local support, I don't really worry about that because all my activity is just based online. So it's like I don't even live here in a way, I guess.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And the clients, let's say the bands you write music for, that is all online?
Yeah, yeah. Most of them are from the States, most of them are from Europe
Hmm.
and Australia.
I'm actually very happy for you. You sound like in a comfortable place in life.
Thanks a lot. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So that's most of my questions. Now, if you had anything in mind or that I did not touch upon, you can talk about that.
Um, I think what I can say right now is since we're going through a difficult time,
Hmm.
this pandemic, I just wanna like encourage everyone to just find something that makes them happy and just focus on that, you know. Keep your hopes up and never stop creating.
That's a good advice. The moment you stop creating, you get into the passive path of, I don't know, watching Netflix without actually watching it and similar stuff.
Yeah, yeah, and you start to spiral.
Exactly. Well, yeah. And anything else you would want to say to the entire community, fans, or other producers, or anybody in between?
The community, I would like to thank the community for the support, and I love you guys. And there's more old Calvaire music coming.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just being, kind of it's going through a conveyor belt of production right now. And yeah, just stay positive.
That's a good message. And I personally am excited for your new stuff, so I can wait for the older stuff.
Awesome. I'm glad.
Yeah. Any questions for me?
I feel embarrassed to ask this, but I
Uh-huh.
keep forgetting your name. Like,
Sushma. Sushma.
oh yeah, Sushma.
Yeah. Is it difficult to pronounce? It's not a very common name, at
No, it's
least.
not.
Okay.
It's not difficult. It's just it's not common.
Right,
And
right.
is it like
It's a typical
like
Indian name.
okay? Because it sounds kind of like Eastern Asian to me,
I am
at least.
South Asian, so
Oh, okay, okay. It's a beautiful name, by the way.
thank you. It actually means beauty, which is kind of cocky.
Ah,
Yeah.
awesome, awesome. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, PJ, for your time and for all of the advice you gave and for coming on.
Thanks. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate that.
No problem. I look forward to the songs you're going to send me.
Awesome. I'll prepare some links right now.
All right. Thank you so much and see you again.
Cool. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. So that was PJ, aka Calvaire. If you know him through his older music, good. If you don't know who he is at all, then very good. You're in for surprises. And if you know him because of his newer music, then also very good because this person's production quality is just it's amazing. And also, some of those producers who has this unique way of speaking through music, Calvaire has that. He's just not making music, he's talking, it seems like, at least to me. So, yeah, I'm very excited to see the experiments that we discussed so far. And with that, I'll say goodbye for now. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Take care of yourselves.